Locked in for the holidays, stuck home again. I'm missing my family, and crooked as sin. Still, it's not the first time we spent Christmas shut in. It happened before when I was a boy. 'Twas in the mid-60s, as far as I know. Late Christmas Eve, it started to snow. We got 3 or 4 feet, and then the wind came to blow, while the drifts up a dozen feet high. Now, the snow to the windows kept the bedrooms right dim, but Dad poked his head through it, and the scene it was grim. The whole of the harbour was full up to the brim, except for the church on the hill. But how to get to it? For a promise he'd made to ring that church bell for Christmas. Oh, he felt so dismayed. For the snow was too deep for through it to wade, and too far for a tunnel to drill. But down by the stage he witnessed firsthand that hang-ashore Johnny with buckets in hand, so staggering drunk that he could barely stand, and stealing cod oil from Dad's big old steel drum. Now Johnny was a case hardened, with a heart made of coal, full of badness and evil from his head to his soles. Take the eyes out of your head, come back for the holes. He spied Dad over his bottle of rum. Get away out of that, Dad at him did roar, but Johnny just gave a wave and stole one of his oars, took my old toboggan, got down on all fours, and rode away over the top of the drifts. That's how I'll get to church, sure it'll be just like child's play. Dad went to the tree and grabbed my brand new sleigh, put her through the window, and then he was away. Proper use, I suppose, for my gifts. When he got to the church, he saw such a sight. The drifted in snow had the bell socked in tight. So he went to the stove, thinking if it he did light, it'd thaw away some of the slop. He turned on the oil, and then when nothing ran, through the window for the gauge on the tank he did scan. And there he saw Johnny had filled up his own can, leaving never so much as a drop. When he saw Dad through the window with a saucy old grin, he hefted a bottle of altar wine up to his chin. It's Christmas communion, it's not a sin, and laid the swag back down in the snow. Now, did he make a run for it? Was that a joke? No, that case hardened got his backy, and he rolled up a smoke. Said, now, teacher man, don't you have a stroke. It's God's way for to give, don't you know? It's Christmas, thought Dad. No need for a fuss. That Slevine wouldn't listen, and if he tried to discuss, sure, all Johnny would do would be to swear and to cuss. So he waited, and for further commotion did brace. Johnny smoked, and he puffed it right down to the butt, lowered the rest of the altar wine into his gut, and flicked away his cigarette. Then off he did strut, but the wind blew it right back in his face. Now, without thinking, he swiped it, but he wasn't keen. And where did it pitch but in that jar of kerosene? It ignited, and Johnny dropped it all with a scream, and the cod oil bucket he fumbled as well. Now, with a thunderous roar, that jerry can blew to bits, frightened half of the livyers right out of their wits. 4 gallons of cod oil from the bucket did spritz, and a bit of it landed and greased up the bell. The force of the blast, the empty bucket did sling. It hit square off the bell, and it started to swing. Knocked it free from the ice, and away it did ring. And Johnny got splattered point blank. 3.5 gallons of cod oil had hit him broadside, knocked him flat on his belly, and down the hill he did glide, with smoke emanating from the lit spot on his greasy backside, until he brought up right solid in the bank. The promise now kept, Dad got back on his sleigh, slid down the hill, and to home made his way. Must get out the shovel, to himself he did say, but what he saw filled him up with delight. Through the dirty big snowdrifts, others were digging her out. People in upstairs windows were chatting about. That Johnny's such an arsehole, he heard someone shout, but Dad knew that the day would be all right. And now, to shorten the story, after shovel and snow, we opened presents, had fun, ate turkey although that Amadon Johnny was still on the go, right back at it. No, he was never true. And these days, with more lockdowns and more variants each day, the cares of the world now and on our mind they do play. I puts it behind me And to all you, I do say, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you.